Promise strength.
What's up, YouTube? Once again for Pro Wrestling Unleashed. I am, of course, Bill Mack here and bringing you today's edition. Today we'll be dealing with the TNA Impact Wrestling wrap-up. This was for September the 22nd, 2016. A lot of matches in tonight's episode are dealing with a lot for setup to Bound for Glory. We've got a few semifinal matches for the Grand Championship tournament that will take place. It's going to be it's a pretty good show. Last week was kind of a a lot of broken Hardy segments and stuff, but and I think this is going to be a pretty good one. It's going to hopefully it'll have a good balance into it, but we'll just get right into it. A lot of things to suppress and a lot of hopefully feuds and stuff leading into it, but I think it was pretty good. We got basically I think 4 matches involved in the pay-per-view Bound for Glory, which is TNA's big pay-per-view of the year. So let's get right into it then. We see that beginning of tonight we deal with the Drew Galloway, and one of the semifinal matches takes on Eddie Edwards, and of course they wrestled 3 rounds. The judges there, to win by pinfall submission for each matchup, and then if nobody if it's split at the end and that judges go to the cards, I think that's how they do it. I've been trying to really understand that. I'm not too big of a fan of it. I don't want to see a 3-match setup each week for a championship. I'd rather just go ahead and I know it's only a 3-minute round, but still, I'd much rather see a traditional matchup. Have a grand champion. But I can understand if that's what they want to do. But we see that Eddie. It goes to the 3rd round. Drew Galloway ends up defeating Eddie Edwards due to a 3rd round split decision to move on into the finals at Bound for Glory. And who will he face? Well, it remains to be seen. Maybe we'll know by the upcoming matchup as we see Aaron Rex take on Eli Drake, and we see that Aaron Rex comes out on top of the 3rd round by pinning Eli Drake, and we end up seeing what will be a great feud to come, not only in the upcoming Bound for Glory pay-per-view, but further on between Drew Galloway and Aaron Rex. And that's a feud that we feel like doesn't need to be rushed. And you could tell when Aaron Rex made his his debut in TNA and he first started talking, you could see that there was some animosity kind of brewing between him and Drew Galloway. As you remember, he cut a promo on Drew Galloway. And so we could see a potentially good feud, because both guys can work. Both guys are good guys if they just don't rush things. See, that's the main thing when you want in a good feud. Don't rush it. Give it a slow build. TNA is pretty decent with their feud building. If they can just build a feud and let it take time. See, old school wrestling fans, feuds will last weeks, months, or even a year or two. I mean, everything today is so fast and up so fast that fans get so wanting to get tired of it. They're not built and invested into the story. But that's what makes a good feud, is when you can actually take the time to grow the characters for the fans to fall for them, or like them or hate them, and have a story, a really good story that tells that. That's what I know WWE tries to do that, but they're so accustomed to feuding one month with one and the next because of pay-per-views. Instead of back in the old days when they didn't have pay-per-views every month, they could build one and the fans knew that's what it was going to be, and you were just always kind of on the edge of your seat, waiting for that to happen, waiting for that title change. Back when old Ric Flair was the days, you'd wait for somebody to beat Ric Flair, and Ric Flair would manage to cheat and win. You're like, oh, maybe next time. And then, he would just fight that way. But if TNA gets their feuds and slowly builds their feuds up instead of rushing them, and I know these pay-per-views, but, you got to slow them down. Let the fans get invested in them first. Let them take part in it. Don't rush everything so fast. I know you're trying to do your pay-per-views, but that's why you want to slowly build them. You got to invest time in them, and get the fans behind the people. I mean, that's what he did in the Attitude Era. I mean, The Rock just didn't come to Rock in 1 month. It took time to build. So take time to build your characters, TNA. You can do it and have good storylines, and hey, you've got the wrestlers, you've got the talent. You just got to get creative in. So I hope this is a good feud. I hope they build this and slow it down a little bit, but it will be good to see those two face each other in the upcoming Grand Championship final at TNA's big Bound for Glory pay-per-view of the year. So next up we see a video package, and they show looks to be Cody Rhodes apparently is going to be making his debut at TNA, Bound for Glory. So that's a good talent. Cody's a good talent, and hopefully TNA can, use him well. I mean, if they can use this WWE talent, I mean, sure, you think of WWE talent, and they all usually a lot of times go to TNA, which is the next promotion in line. But if they just use them right and make them right, I mean, you look at Ethan Carter III. They rejected him, but Ethan Carter III, to me, is TNA's biggest franchise guy if they push him. See, like they did with AJ Styles. AJ Styles was their big franchise guy. They need to take EC3 and do him the same way. Always keep him at the top, because remember, you grew him. You made him into who he is. It wasn't WWE. They failed on him. So take your time with EC3. But they show Cody Rhodes coming in, and hopefully Cody can fall in that. They use him in a good way, in a creative way, which I know him being a former WWE guy, they'll push him in the main event. But just use the guy, give him a good gimmick, and let him go along with it. I mean, make him a star there. I know he's also been in WWE, but you got to make him over with the fans that's there. So looks like he'll be making his debut, even though it won't be a full-time thing, because, he's going to wrestle other places as well, which I hate when they do that. I like when they exclusively wrestle for one brand. You know them as that brand. When they wrestle all over the place and they have that potential to get it hurt, then but I also know TNA's financial problems. So TNA's going to have something to back it up on. But, it's good to see Cody Rhodes going to get back in the ring, and he will be making his debut at TNA Bound for Glory. Up next, we have a X Division title match, thank God, as we have the X Division title back, and being defended, which it should be, and never being used as an option C, folks. You don't want to use this. But see, DJZ take on Trevor Lee. Remember, Trevor Lee used to be the X Division champion, but now we see DJZ ends up getting the pinfall as a result over Trevor Lee to retain the X Division title. So congratulations to DJZ. After the matchup, we see that Adam Everett comes out and attacks DJZ, which makes it basically your general beatdown out of the Helms Dynasty, if they still have that. I don't know. But Eddie Edwards ends up coming down and saves DJZ. So he comes out and helps DJZ out, and then he puts over DJZ, and he asks DJZ for a title shot at Bound for Glory, and DJZ agrees to doing it. So you help him, he turns around and helps you. You have mutual respect for each other. That builds a good chance to get a title match, rather than trying to beat down the man for the title. You help him out, and then basically I say, hey, I helped you out. Do you mind giving me a shot? You're a good competitor. I mean, putting guys over, is a good thing. That's what you want to do. So it's good to see this happen. And the main event for tonight is the Moose and EC3 take on Lashley and Bennett. Throughout the night, Bennett was trying to make sure Lashley and he were on the same page, and you want to see the two heels and Lashley and Bennett joining forces. You see Moose basically maneuvering back over, and because remember, Bennett outed him in the matchup to determine the number one contender, and Moose hasn't forgot that. Moose has been very agitated with Bennett since the beginning, but now we see that when it all boils down to it, we see EC3 and Moose defeat Lashley and Bennett, and then after the matchup, we see Moose jump on Bennett and start beating Bennett up the ramp in the back, and then EC3 and Lashley are brawling in the ring, and then out of nowhere the locker rooms all come out, to break them up, and you can. This is a good, because you don't want this kind of feud to just fizzle out. So like I said, a lot of them saying that watched it saw that it was a different kind of feel to it. You want to get invested in these characters, and you've seen this feud. EC3, Lashley, that they're clashing, and it's good to see this, and it was kind of like a different feel to it that you get when you see these two guys pulling each other apart, and the locker rooms basically coming in, and the wrestlers pulling these guys apart. You can see the intensity that's there within it, and throughout the night, as well. A point is that they did promos quite a bit in this matchup, and that's why I didn't mention too much about them going on to not seeing quite a bit of promo work. But you have to have good mic work to go along with it, and one shout out to give that we have basically seen is getting more airtime is Maria on the mic. Maria is getting herself and to be the clear-cut heel of the Knockouts division. She is getting really, really good on the mic, and it's good to have that from her, because we're wanting to see her continued usage of Allie, and after Allie, had won the Knockouts title, and you see how she's treating Allie, it kind of her usage of Allie and her abuse of Allie and on the mic, it creates that hatred for Maria, but gains that sympathy for Allie to want to get you behind Allie rather than seeing her as still associated with Maria. So overall, I think it was a little bit different from last week. Like I said in the beginning of the show, is that it was basically more or less broken Hardy stuff, more of focusing on Bound for Glory, which the broken Hardy stuff is great. It's what draws the TNA now, but you don't want it to oversaturate the product and it be all about that. So good to see these matches to not focus on the Bound for Glory. It's good to see these feuds because between Aaron Rex and Galloway, between Moose and you see the tension with Bennett, with EC3 and Lashley, you're seeing these things build up, and you see these feuds. If they just don't rush them and build them the right way, I'm sure that they'll have a really good not only match at Bound for Glory, but also as we see for the upcoming TNA for in the foreseeable future. So just keep building them up, TNA. Your creative has got to improve. Your product will improve. Your viewers will improve. But it's got to all start up front first. So let's just, the talent is there to do it if you can just put the right ingredients together. That's my take on it. And looking, hopefully, the Bound for Glory will be their great pay-per-view. It's their biggest one of the year. So we look forward to it happening. But, if you like my videos, not only about TNA, I also do WWE, also sometimes do subject to WCW, a variety of wrestling content. If you like wrestling content and you miss recaps of shows, come right here, come to my channel, like my video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment if you have any ideas, want to see anything, feel free to let me know. I'll try to continue on putting, and even got my results video coming out. So until next time, this is TNA wrap-up show for Pro Wrestling Unleashed, Bill Mack, and saying until next time, take it easy, folks.